Good evening. Welcome to Ek Samvad at Aruni Mankuran. Today we are having a panel discussion on the role of assessment in online education. Our guests today are Ms. Afia, Dr. Himani and Ms. Supriya. Welcome to Ek Samvad. Aruni Mankuran is an initiative for positive social change through self-development. The goal is greater well-being and happiness for all. At Arunipankuran, we believe that each person is unique and special in some way, that each one of us can be change makers, each one of us can make an impact, each one of us can make a difference in our own unique ways. And it's a pleasure and privilege to have here educators who are touching the lives of so many students on a regular basis. So the theme is assessments for online teaching. Assessment is defined as a methodical way of acquiring, reviewing and using information about someone or something so as to make improvement where necessary. In the context of online education as we are looking at it today, the big question is, what are learners supposed to do after learning the course? Figure out that and build the appropriate interactive elements. So the challenge is for all educators at different levels in schools, in colleges, everywhere. And the CBSE has today postponed the exams for class 12 students and actually cancelled the exams for the 10th class board students. So we are going to look at the whole idea of assessment also in that context. Our guests today are Afia Riaz ma'am. She is MSc B.Ed and there is a long list of qualifications that all of them have which we are not able to share here right now. Welcome Afia ma'am. Dr. Himani Avasthi, she's an MBA HR. She's got a doctorate in work-life balance and is a professor. She's teaching MBA students. Welcome, Himani. And Supriya ma'am is a very dear friend also, and she is a brilliant teacher, MSc B.Ed with 25 plus years of experience. So thank you so much for taking out time to join us for a panel discussion today evening. It's a pleasure to welcome you here. So, if students are encouraged to recognize and comprehend the objective of their learning, understand where they are in relation to the objective and how they can accomplish the objective, can they become more effective self-directed learners? So what is the role of assessment in online learning? Do we need to reimagine assessments for online students? What are some of the innovative ideas for assessments in online education? And do teachers need to change their approach? So, when the old shoe doesn't fit anymore, we need to switch them. There are a lot of changes that are happening with reference to our education system. And we would like to cover as much as we can during this discussion. But most importantly, let's start off with what is the role of assessment? See, when we say exams, that is just one kind of assessment. It's actually more like an evaluation. So, Afia ma'am, would you like to start with this? What is the role of assessments? And we'll come to it subsequently. Yes.
Definitely. To explain it to parents or students, see, we can use big words, and you can, like educators and people who are in our field, they understand the technicalities and the nuances of assessing or making an assessment. But how to convey it to parents and how to make them understand that why an assessment is necessary. So
Yes.
I would like to say two things: that it is the motivation to learn, and next is how teachers teach and how to improve that. So these are the two things which I would like to keep in mind as a parent or as an educator, which should be conveyed in a very simplest form. So process of gathering data to better understand the strengths and weakness of the student learning. So this is a proper, you can say, simplified version of saying that yes, assessments means this. Assessment becomes a lens to understand students' behavior, to identify where we lack, or to identify the barriers, where easiest way in which we can, convey the plan of assessment to the stakeholders.
Right. Supriya ma'am, your
Yeah.
perspective?
I add to what Afia has said. Uh, Assessment is actually to test the learning of the student. How would the educator know that the child has learned? Test his memory or whether he has learned his concepts, his language, vocabulary. Because many a times it happens that the child has not understood it, or sometimes he has understood it but cannot express it in a good way or a simple language.
Hmm.
So where are the problems? That is what we can find by assessment. Whether it's the concept not understood or the wrong concept has been understood. All these assessment tests or whatever we call them are
Hmm.
finally going to lead us to the corrective what from the child side and as well as from the teacher side. So I feel assessment is very, very important. We cannot have education without assessment.
Hmm. Himani, you're also a parent, from the perspective of parents, like you just shared with us that the board exams have been postponed for the class 12 students and they've been cancelled for the class 10 students. So, as a parent, how do you see the role of examination? But you're also an educator, so examination is not the only way of assessing learning. Talk to us about how you think.
Yes. See, first thing, I'm an educator of management. I teach business administration. So everything that I do, any process goes through with the feedback. Process is never complete till the time we get the feedback. Whether it's communication process, whether it's business research, any process is not finished with my understanding. This the examination or evaluation or assessment is just the feedback to understand how much the learner is getting. It's very important to see whether he or she is in the right direction, whether whatever we are delivering, whether he is grasping that or something else, as Afia ma'am and Supreme ma'am has told. So we have to see whether whatever is being taught is taken by them or what is the takeaway. One thing is this. The second thing, as a parent, I would say that continuous assessments are more important than a final examination. In when we are talking about online studies, because what happens as a parent, and I'm telling that no, sometimes my son also used to give the online examinations not very seriously, or he has already done that, and teachers have told no, you can solve, make a PDF file and then send it to us. So there was a lot of, I mean, shortcuts which they were using, and that was not a very right, correct assessment of the child. So what I feel, continuous assessments are very, very important. Another thing is that there are certain students, those who have joined in 2020, and we have been teaching them only online. I mean, I have taught them only online. There are certain students, those who were our earlier students, previous, those who have joined in 2018 or 19. So I knew those
Personal.
students, know what personally. So I know this one is more serious. She's doing better work, or whatever she is doing is coming from her creativity and imagination. This is coming from the copy and pasting. So for the students, those who have joined in 2020, it became a bit difficult for us as an assessor, as an educator, to identify that what I mean, where they are standing, what is their actual potential, what is their actual creativity, and I mean, not very clear about the system. That is one thing which I feel we are lacking if we are doing it only online for the first time. New students, new batch of
Right.
students.
In fact, there are so many different questions. Do we need to try and carry forward old modes of assessment to the online learning system? Or do we need to reimagine, rethink the whole strategy of, assessment, and what is the outcome we are trying to achieve by doing this? What is that? So, with reference to online assessments, is there something that we can do differently? Is there a need for that?
Exactly
Absolutely.
what Himani ma'am said. Like she ended on a very particular note that we need to do something specially for the children who have joined now, and we do not know them personally. So What are they doing
Mm-hmm.
regarding their, assessment? So here comes the next, you can say, continuing part, that is we need to reimagine assessment. So I would like to say that creating window instead of doors. See, we talk about assessment like as a gateway, okay, as a milestone. We say assessment means it's a
Mm-hmm.
milestone, and the child has to, overcome that milestone, and that is the meaning
Yes,
of
yes.
successful assessment.
Hmm.
So we should not make it as a door for the children. We should create window in a manner like, once this assessment ends, another
Hmm.
one starts, but it is in continuation, as Supriya ma'am, Himani ma'am said, it should be continuous. So we are giving them continuous opportunity to, take on assessment which is favorable for their, you can say, skills or their learning abilities. So here comes the next part, that is tech blended learning. So
Hmm.
we all know what is formative assessment. We all know what is, you can say, summative assessment. But
Hmm.
one more assessment which is now added on in this pandemic online education is, that is, tech blended assessments or blended learning. So I'll give an example like, uh, a chef makes a soup and taste it, and before serving it to guests, make sure that it's perfect.
Hmm.
So it is like us. We are creating assessments, keeping all the Bloom's taxonomy in mind, keeping everything in mind, all the pedagogies in mind, and we are making sure that our assessment doesn't have a flaw. And we're just serving it to the guests, that means the students. But if we give the chance to the guest to taste it and tell the chef what is needed, what is not needed, then it will bring a whole new perspective to the soup, means to the assessment. So
Yes,
rather
yes.
than the chef taking the lead, it should
Hmm.
be the guest taking the lead. So that is my, you can say, inputs on tech blended learning. So, and there are many, recently CBSE had conducted many workshops for teachers, and I was
Hmm.
lucky enough to attend one of them. So
Hmm.
they have like when, why, and how. So if we are talking about summative assessment, if we are talking about, you can say, formative assessment.
Hmm.
So formative assessment is throughout the course. It is to identify gaps and it is to improve. And it is, why approach is to support specific student needs. When we talk about summative assessment, it is at the end of the instructional period. Why we do it? We have to collect information, student knowledge. We have to collect,
Hmm.
proof what the child have done. And how we do that? By, just giving grades or marks. But when we come to technology, when we come to this, online thing, I'll say it in three words because I can elaborate a lot on this, but I'll just say it in three words: student choice, student agency, and self regulation. So,
Hmm.
this is the core idea for bringing technology and assessment together.
Wow. Would one of you like to add something to that?
See, I feel that one before we start with new methods of assessing, we need to start teaching also differently. The teaching learning
Hmm.
process also change before we start to change the assessment. We have to teach
Yes.
the children very, very differently online as compared to what we were teaching in classrooms. It is absolutely different. That is what I feel. Because the feedback that I have got, the children are not interested. Children naturally they are not in contact with the teacher or with the
Hmm.
environment. Different environment. They have suddenly they wake up and they have to have a class.
Hmm.
So we definitely need to change the method of teaching, and I feel that teacher is the best person who can do it. I think teacher is the only person who can develop new techniques because she is the one or he is the one who is dealing with the children. So they know it perfectly what to do and how to do.
Hmm.
So we start to assess them. Let us teach them in a different way. Let the teaching be interactive instead of no lectures. You cannot have a
Oh,
lecture
that's.
method
Hmm.
slide. Teacher is teaching with the lecture method. The student is sleeping definitely. Yes. If not sleeping, then playing.
Hmm.
Okay. So we need to have student participation. We have to make him interested and alert. And that is what the teacher has to do. It should be activity based. students need to be made to prepare something or to say something or to do something. They cannot just listen to the teacher. It is absolutely, I feel, not effective. For example, simple things, 6th standard, different types of clothes is a chapter. So you are teaching cotton, silk, wool, or synthetic, blended, fabric, all that. Why can't they get things that's very easy to get? Let them find out and get it, and then see the difference, how it is absorbing more water. Cotton is absorbing more water, synthetic is not absorbing water. They can show the simple things. They can, who is it, more water has been absorbed by cotton as compared to synthetic, and similarly synthetic fibers are dries very quickly. So these are things very, very sure teachers are doing it. That is what is required. Simple things like indicators, whether it's acid or base. Everyone has turmeric at home, beetroot at home, so they can easily find out. Children can do it and find it very, very interesting. Believe me, they find it interesting to do things. And if they are made to do it, they definitely will listen to what you are saying. They definitely will be listening. And what I feel, therefore, is that before assessment, let us teach them differently. And we as teachers are supposed to do it. We are the only ones who can do it. That is what I feel. Assessments have, as Afia said, it should be short. Many, more in number, short assessments, different types of assessments, so that skills of children can be assessed. Each one has got a different skill. Some can draw very nicely, some can speak very nicely, some can write beautifully, some can explain nicely. So we have to have assessment using different skills and according to the level of the student. That should be there. Having said all this, I feel that teachers for this need to be given a free hand. That is very, very important. Teachers have to be believed in. Team teachers, school, administration, at national level, teachers should be given free hand. I have seen so many teachers in so many different places all over India, and I find that teachers, almost all, are very good at their job. The only difference in a good teacher and not so good teacher is where one is given freedom to have initiative. The teacher is not yet do it or I couldn't do it, whether the school will like it, whether the management will not say, or even nowadays whether the parents will have some problem. So the teacher is free. She will definitely have. She has. It is not that she will have. She already has. Only thing is she has to be given a free hand to do it. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Although we do need a standardized format in which certain things, there has to be some kind of structure, but I really like what you're saying, Supriya, which is that, the role of the teaching community also needs to change. Their approach to the whole idea of teaching needs to be changed. It's not just like delivering knowledge and giving information to students. The onus of learning is on the students, student-centric. What do they need? How are they willing to learn? Himani, what would you like to add to that?
I very much agree with what Supriya ma'am has told. That no, there should be first there should be a lot of interactive sessions, a lot of learning, a lot of education. I mean, first there should be compartment of education, and then different kinds of assessments are important, because the students know when we are doing online classes now. So we can see some of the students are very vocal, some of the students do not speak. When you go one-to-one to them, I ask them, what is your problem? What did you understand? Then they will explain. But when it's asked in the group, they don't want to speak, they don't want to switch on their cameras. So you have to see different kinds of assessments are important. Some people may be good at speaking, some may be good at writing. Some may be good, very punctual, very disciplined. When asked to submit an assignment, they are doing it very much on time. But when asked to give a presentation, they hesitate because of X, Y reasons. I feel assessment should be just a window, what Afia ma'am has told. It should be, then there is another window and then there is another door. So a lot of, there should be, this is assessment and it is done. No, it should not be like that. It should be continuous, and for different kind of students, we need to understand their requirements, and accordingly, as there should be some standardization, definitely we have to see that how much is the basic thing. We have to judge their subject knowledge also. If we are teaching a particular subject, then we have to see how much they are doing in that particular subject. But apart from that subject knowledge, we have to assess certain other things, like their confidence, their interaction. See, in higher education, where I'm teaching, we have class interaction marks also. How much students are interactive in the class. So those things are very, very important. Not only the subject knowledge, because there are students, those who can be doing very well in subject knowledge, but they do not interact. They write very well in the answer sheets, but when it comes to presentation, they do not want to give it. They just avoid it.
Yeah, yeah. And
Encourage, and we have to encourage such students know that this is a whole package which has little bit of speaking, little bit of interaction, group activities. Certain students are very good at doing the work individually, but when it comes to group activities, they have problems. So everything has to be, no, there should be certain weightage given to all the aspects of learning. That is my
I know, and in the present situation, actually, so many things that worked very well in the past may have become totally irrelevant. So for the teachers, also, it's a very big challenge. It's a very challenging time. And there's also this school of thought which is coming in, which is that we don't need to assess, we don't need to have exams, just keep sending students to the next class. So, I sometimes just wonder how is it going to work out? Just share your perspective on that. How does this look to you as educators? The idea of not having any kind of assessments, no exams or anything, and sending students across. I'm not so sure if it's good in the interest of the students also, actually, unless you get feedback. Like we were just discussing earlier. So.
Okay. So what I feel that there should be assessment. There is very much a need of assessment and examination, so that I feel students, otherwise, no, the students, those who have really worked hard throughout the year, or those who are really interested, those who want to show their potential, and those who are working hard, they will be the persons who will be penalized. Those kids will be penalized. If everybody is passed, everybody is coming in the next class, no assessments, we don't know who's doing what. So there may be the students, those who are working really hard to achieve something that they want to have, they want to come first in the class. Abhi to bahut CBSE and all, they are not giving these positions in classes, percentages are given, and then they themselves ask who is first, who is second. But still, those who perform, those who really work hard to achieve something, I think for them it will be an injustice to them. Everybody is being cleared, nobody is being rewarded. I mean, there are certain things, intrinsic reward, extrinsic reward. So that is very, very important, I feel. Anywhere, whether we are working as in the job also, we want some type of appreciation, some type of increment, some type of promotion. Similarly, in this, children also want extrinsic or intrinsic rewards, teachers' appreciation of teachers' values, that he is doing really well, and I feel that assessments are very, very.
I would like to carry forward what Himani ma'am said, and as Supriya ma'am has also taught, the school children. When I entered school education in 2016, before that I was teaching just like Himani ma'am is teaching, the postgraduates and graduates. So when I came into the school education, I was shocked in my first year because in 8th standard, if Supriya ma'am remembers, there was this, protocol. Till 8th standard, you have no authority to fail a child, if you're aware of this. So till 8th standard, the children used to just pushed, passed on, promoted. And what were the criteria for promotion? It was just, taking retest upon retest. If the child is not scoring certain percentage or marks, we used just to take easy retest were made, and, the child was promoted till 8th standard. But then what happened in 8th? When we teachers were teaching them in the class, they couldn't read a single line. Some of the children, those who were specially abled, till 8th standard, the school, the teachers, we were not able to identify if this child needed special attention or special education, because it was not assessed on those lines. It was just like a herd just being pushed
Hmm.
from one standard to another.
Hmm.
And when these students came into ninth and 10th, then it was a big gap, because from one section there were
Yes.
approximately 8 to 10 children who were facing difficulties in maths, in simple science. So when we talk about CBSE 10th board, 12th board, so there is no escape from these core subjects. So then what the child is to do in certain stage, the crucial stage of examination, you cannot prepare the child in 1 year कि आप एक साल में सभी कुछ पढ़ा दो उनको. So
Hmm.
the foundation is weak. So then how are you just pushing? So that is why continuous assessment is very necessary. Also, what Himani ma'am said, that intrinsic and extrinsic appreciation is necessary. It is very habitual of our teachers. According to environment, also sometimes we change, even though we can be a very different teacher from others. So if a child is good at all kind of sports, co-curricular activities, and academics, but if that child's percentage or grades go, down, we tell that child, you participated in so and so exam, in so and so
Yes.
extracurricular activity, that's why your grade went down.
Hmm.
So it should be not like that. Why can't we judge the child upon these activities as well? We are very proud of posting their 80 on 80 or 100 on 100 papers on the corridors, and showing off to the parents and the principal, see, this child is perfect. But what about the acting skill, or the singing skill, or the dancing skill, or the painting, or any other activity which the child loves to do? That can also be a way of assessment. So why can't
Yes.
we include that in our core assessment? So and it is not like that only academically sound child is exceeding in life. The child who is exceeding in co-curricular activities is also exceeding in life after passing 10th and 12th. Then why
Hmm.
only so much of fuss over pen and paper writing assessment? So a thought must be given on this aspect as well.
Yes.
I feel that assessment should have some value. Assessment just for the sake of assessment is there's no idea having that.
Hmm.
Are wanting to have good results, all 100% pass, all have passed, so many have got first division. Schools are going for that. Teachers are also wanting to have good results. My so many students have got 100%. My all children have passed. Now it's very easy to give good marks to children. You make easy paper. It's very good, very easy to do that. But you are harming the child. You are in no way helping the child. The parents are also very happy if you give easy paper, good result. You are happy, parents are happy, children are happy, school is happy, everyone is happy, but the child is losing.
Yes.
And hence the assessment has to be of a certain standard. But that does not mean it has to be that old paper, question answer type, long
Yes.
answer type.
Yes.
Can have different ways of assessing same topic. If I am teaching generator, dynamo, then I can teach it in so many different ways. Now I have to teach it in such a way that most of the children would understand and get interested in it. Getting interested is more important. Once he is interested, he will automatically understand it.
As a parent, I would like to add on about the assessments. My son was in class 10th in 2019, and then he was he was not performing very good in maths, particularly. His teacher was his teacher was, I mean, she was very laborious girl, and she used to, I mean, I'm talking about that the rewards and motivation from the teacher's side, and she used to ask, Adi will always do good. Whenever she used to call me, or I used to call her, ma'am, how is he doing? Is he performing good? Is he practicing? Is he doing? Is he attentive in the class? She used to always say so much positive things about Adi, which I know that she is not 100% right what she is telling. But I remember when Adi came from their first examination was maths examination, and when he came, teacher called up immediately after the children. My son has reached home, and then she asked, "How was the paper?" And Adi was not very happy. But no, I see the dedication, the amount of energy, motivation, positivity which teachers put in for their children. And and Adi has performed really well in maths, and I really appreciate that teachers' efforts, their positivity, and their motivate, and the way they motivate their students. That is really, uh, I mean, that is really very, very encouraging for the parents.
The focus of the teachers should not merely be on the assessment of the learning that has taken place in terms of content. There is so much other than content. Also, the development, overall development of the child should also be at the center of the teacher's attention. So that she makes sure even if you're not performing very well academically, overall growth is happening good. In the long term they compensate for that lack of learning immediately, but
So Priyanka has told no that they should be able to develop interest of the child. So that is very, very
I think this is really interesting because there are so many different jobs that teachers do, and the assessment of a student is not just the assessment of the student's learning. The assessment of the student is also feedback for the teacher in terms of how many outcomes they have achieved, what was the objective, and so many other things that are related. But there is also another question that's very important for us to discuss, which is that in the current scenario, things are like they have never been before. So the challenges are so many, so great for the students as well as for the teaching community. It would be very interesting for us to share innovative practices or innovative ideas, even though they may not have been put into practice yet. But do share with us, how do you think we can enhance the role of assessment, the quality of assessment, and safeguard the interest of the students uh, in these situations, in the current scenario? Uh, who wants to go first? Afia ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to add on that here, when we talk about safeguarding the points which you said for the stakeholders as well as for educators. So here we need to keep in mind that yes, we need to be, and it was discussed the moment we started this particular thing in this meeting, that freedom should be given to teachers, and there should be decisions wherein the teacher should have a choice. She can make the choice, the students can make the choice. So if I want to there is this one topic in 10th standard, inanimate matter. So how earth you know was made, or how the atmosphere of earth was created from inanimate matter, that is gases. So there is this movie Martian, and in this movie beautifully it has been shown that how to survive this man takes up the particular atmospheric gas, creates spark, breaks it down, and makes it into H2O, and then how he grows potato. So that is my favorite scene, and whenever we used to be in school, I used to discuss this particular scene while making the children study. So here, what I am doing generating interest in science subject. I am making the children curious, so that even if I end this particular teaching learning process here, they will go home, they will search, they will think about it, and their experience will widen up, and this may help them in their assessment. So if I give a project based on this particular concept or from this chapter, I know that my child is not going to just copy paste from Google. I know that my child can think something else, can quote movies, can quote
Absolutely,
songs,
absolutely.
can quote something different apart from just the syllabus which we have. So here the freedom should be there, and the choices made should be assessed in such a way that it should not look like, okay, this particular teacher is doing too much, we should not allow that. The parents might get the parents might not accept it. So why are we just thinking about all these barriers right before we even start the initiative? So there have been certain teachers which I'm in contact with, from Vietnam and from UK. They have this way of teaching phonics for for a first, second, third standard. You might have seen that these teachers, these first graders, they have so much of energy. They dance and they sing, and they make the children do the grammar also with the singing and learning process. So it is not only in class learning. The child is going home and teaching the same thing to the parents. So assessment is happening without anything, because the child what has learned in the class is teaching the same things in the house by repeating that particular rhythm.
Hmm.
So why can't we accept such ways of teaching, learning, assessing in
Yes.
our Indian education? So reforms need to start. Just putting reforms on files of 200 pages, 300 pages, and not giving the
Hmm.
freedom to teachers is not going to change this scenario, especially this
Absolutely.
pandemic scenario.
Yes.
So, and right now we are, away from students. We know that
Hmm.
I feel sometimes bad that I'm not able to reach certain sections of the, students who are not giving their 100%. But when you try to reach them in a different way, they are hesitant. The parents are not, willing to go through such a process. They say, ma'am, you are, doing something very different. Like, कुछ
Hmm.
अलग कर रहे हैं आप, ये क्या CBSE में तो बोर्ड में तो ऐसा आएगा नहीं. So
Right.
acceptability is also not there. So
Hmm.
we need to create awareness. We need to train teachers. We need to be more open-minded.
Hmm.
That is all what I want to say about this particular thing.
Afia,
Yeah.
I absolutely sympathize with you. I can understand where all this is coming from. As you said, in some countries you have seen teachers and seen that children are young children, nursery KG children are made to dance and jump and do all those things while learning. And in
Hmm.
our schools, nursery and KG students are made to sit in one place. They're not supposed to even stand.
Hmm.
I think that is absolutely harming the child. That is one thing. Another thing is that we are exam oriented.
Hmm.
Exam में आए we will study.
Absolutely.
Exam में
So true.
study. So even the parents, it is first. I think parents, many parents need to be uh, taught about what is to be taught and how it is to be taught. So we have to first make the parents understand, especially in online classes. I have seen that teachers are nowadays when you are teaching online, everyone is looking at you. All the parents. If there are 50
Hmm.
children, there are parents looking at you, and so the
Hmm.
teacher is वो parent कुछ बोल देगा, somebody would say something, would they like it or not? So that hesitancy is also there, and because of that, the teaching learning process has been affected.
Hmm.
And but the teacher, I think, if you know what you are doing, if you are absolutely sure that you are doing right, then you will do. And you
Hmm.
will do it in spite of all the obstructions, all these things. We do
Hmm.
it, and many teachers are doing it. And many schools are changing. We have to change that state of mind. We have to change it. It is changing slowly. Many parents are
Hmm.
also have to counsel the parents also, because parents are, my child should get 100% or 90% or 95%, not below that. Why? So many parents I have met who said, my child has got 95, ma'am, kahan pe reh gaya? I said, why are you, kahan pe reh gaya? 95% is very good. Another
Hmm.
thing I want to say is that when we are saying about assessment and we are talking of confidence and language and all those things, that is okay, that has to be there. That is a very important part of education. But
Hmm.
also can be taught in a different way.
Hmm.
Saying, suppose there is a child, I taught science in a different way, but I taught all the topics. I've covered all the topics, but in a different way, in so many different ways. That child goes to Afia's school one day and she tests him, he will know everything. But I did teach him according to the set patterns. So content can be taught, the whole syllabus can be covered. There is enough time. If you use 40 minutes in a class properly, there is enough time to do everything as you like it, as you feel is good.
Hmm.
I feel. So I'm talking about the content only. Other things are there, yes, that is important. But content which children usually do not want to study, they don't like to study. I don't like history, I don't like math, science is very difficult. All these things because there is no interest. Once the then everything becomes good and everything becomes easy. So the teacher's job is to make yourself less and less important. The child which should be more and more independent as he progresses. He should not depend
Yes.
on you for everything. So you have to make him independent. That is your
Yes. What you just said, Supriya, a good teacher is one who makes herself or himself increasingly unnecessary. So you just need to ignite the spark actually, and
The rest,
ha, ha. There's one dimension that I would like to add here, which is that, when we are talking about assessments, we are just focusing constantly on a certain kind of output and everything. I always felt this, हम स्टूडेंट्स को ये चीज क्यों नहीं बताने की कोशिश करते हैं कि तुम्हारे लिए असेसमेंट्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज योर ओन लर्निंग डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ, वेयर आर यू नाउ, how will you know where you are now? If you want to go beyond something, you need to know where you are now. तो वो जो एक बच्चों के लिए भी एक, it's important to understand कि assessments are not our enemy. जो हम लोग ने एग्जाम्स का एक ऐसे हवा जैसे क्रिएट किया हुआ है कि अरे एग्जाम्स, बोर्ड एग्जाम्स का तो जब मोमेंट चाइल्ड एंटर्स अ बोर्ड क्लास, द होल फैमिली, द ऑल द रिलेटिव्स, फ्रेंड्स, एवरीबॉडी, अच्छा अब तुम टीवी हटा देना, अब तुम ये, देयर आर सो मेनी प्रोसेसेस दैट जस्ट गेट इनटू अ स्पिन टोटली. सो व्हाई कांट वी मेक स्टूडेंट्स अंडरस्टैंड कि तुम्हारे इंटरेस्ट में भी है ये, कि इन्वेस्ट योर टाइम इन लर्निंग, yes.
I would like to add just one thing here. A few years back, it happened with my class. And there was this, exceptionally brilliant child with, 99, 98% throughout his 10th standard. And very, cranky about his, doubts and behind all the teachers and solving so much. And we used to tell him, better take rest because you will, get tired on the day of examination. And there was this one boy who was least bothered about his, percentage or academics, and he was always cool, ma'am, we'll do it, ma'am, I'll do it. But when I have seen in class, like when there was, a problem was given, so both the boys had a very different perspective. The one who was scoring this full on full was having very vertical approach. Means जो एक होता है ना हमारे tradition में, यही करना है, ये एक follow pattern है हमारा. The child used to say those answers. Means the problem solving skills were very, you can say, ingrained, जो हमने बच्चों को बचपन से सिखाया है. But the one who was scoring less, who was having his own time, taking his own time in studying, was having a very different approach. So I should not say this. I didn't say it in front of the children, obviously, but then and there I thought of this. Okay, this child is going to be a very good follower, worker. The one who is scoring 98 and 99, he can be the best employee of an MNC. But the one who is scoring 50s, 60s, and having his own way of, creating own solutions will be the CEO of the company. Like, we cannot judge children on a rigid assessment pattern. We do not know where they are going to end after a period of 5 years. So we should have continuous pattern. We should have certain elements in it, but we should not, hawa jaise aap bol rahe ho, we should not create, like a big bubble. If it bursts, you are finished. We should not create it like that. We should not present it like that.
And I would like to add one thing, just one point, that we need to understand that every child is different and their mental level is also different. So sometimes, in some of the colleges where I have taught, the students were like, we just have to tell the concept once and then we can do the case study, and students will apply those concepts to the case study. But there are certain colleges where I have taught when we have to teach them A, B, C to XYZ for the concept, then we have to teach them how to apply these concepts into the case studies or the situations given, and then how to evaluate what should be your proposal A, proposal B, proposal C. How you are ready for the some contingency. So we need to understand the different levels of students also. As Afia ma'am has said, that there is certain students, those who take it vertically, a very different approach towards the problems. So different kinds of assessments, or continuous assessment, or the summative assessments, whatever it is, but we need to understand the level of students also. And basically I'm saying that a particular college or institute or a particular class, for example 8th will have certain kind of students with certain mindset, 9th or 10th students in 10th will be more mature and they can understand things in a better way. So that is for a particular class or a particular college I'm talking about, that we need to understand that where they, for example, right now I'm teaching in a college which is affiliated to MDU, Maharishi Ranan University, Rohtak. And it is in the rural part of, not exactly rural, but Farokh Nagar area of Gurgaon, which is not very urban area. So there are students, those who come from that area, surroundings. So for them, we have to teach them once or twice. Whereas while I was teaching in JK Business School, where the students were from all over India, so they were like, we have to tell them the concepts and they will फटाफट वो नए case study में, or they will make the case studies, or we will do a lot of role playing there, and which was I mean, they used to love that method of teaching and learning. Whereas the students here in this college, they want more of the concepts to be taught, and then sometimes they also want, ma'am, can we get the notes also? So then they will apply, and they are doing really well also, and some of them really work hard to get to the things actually, but that is different level of students and we have to work accordingly.
Himani ma'am, as Himani ma'am said, that in one college children were like this and the other college children were like this. I feel that they are different because they were taught differently in the lower classes.
Yes.
If they had been taught similarly, automatically they would have been similar. So junior classes, maybe nowadays when I see, if you teach them A topic and then B topic, and then you ask them to find differences between the two topics, they can't. They know A topic, they know B topic, but they can't find the differences between A and B. They will tell you, ma'am, you know the difference, because we have made them like that. Spoon feeding, everything. I will tell you 5 differences, I will tell you 3 differences. If you know A and B, why can't you find differences?
Yes.
That is also a major problem in the learning process. Because we are spoon feeding them, everything you will do, you will give notes, you will give question answers, you will give important questions, you will give everything, and then even then they will not do.
Yes.
That is because you have not created interest, you are just simplifying things for them. We are not supposed to simplify things for them. Let them work, let them to their brains, the sharper it is. So they have not stopped doing that, the easy way out. So you give them everything and then they will get 100 out of 100, but they don't know anything.
Yes.
So that way also you are harming the child.
And we need to, yes, and we need to do these things from the start, right from the beginning. At the end of the day, we want innovative people, we want entrepreneurs, we want people who have creative and innovative ideas, we want innovators, we want scientists. But when they're in school, we tell them don't ask questions.
Don't think.
So it's quite the reverse. So I think it's really nice that some teachers, at least like all of you here, thankfully have this idea of trying to bring in a change. And I think probably teacher training is also one dimension of changing assessments, because you cannot start changing the end before you start changing the means. So we need to have a more holistic approach to the whole thing. Any ideas that you would like to share before we conclude? What you'd like to say to the community at large about see, for example, today one very major decision has been taken, which is that they've just postponed the exams for the students, and a lot of them are going to appear for entrance exams as well, and now the board exams have been postponed. So for the student community, just say what you'd like to share.
I would like to share a thought here that cancelling 10th board might be a good decision as of now, but they should have kept the window open to take up the exam like in 11th. Like these children would be going in 11th standard, so option should have been given for students who are specially going for SAT exams, or who are planning to go abroad for further studies, because this exam is going to really hamper their overall perspective of going to a foreign college, wherein they ask for all these details right from 8th standard. They want all their documents. So what this particular child will produce, because no exams were conducted and the child's credibility would be questioned. This is one thing. So they should, CBSE, maybe I think in coming days they will put up a new idea, and they should give a window that after May, June, if things get stabilized, They should give parents the option. If the child is ready, they can sit for one assessment. The wherein the credibility of the child should not be questioned in foreign universities or Indian universities also, like IITs and
Yes.
NITs.
Mhm.
And for 12th standard, definitely they have done a very good thing by postponing, giving time. They obviously the logistics, the money, the manpower required to conduct exam for 20 lakh, 30 lakh students is not easy. So yes, postponing was a good decision. But are we collaborating with foreign universities? Are we collaborating with NITs and IITs and medical colleges along with this decision? Because if this result gets delayed, their admission to graduate courses will get delayed. So children might be at loss of one semester or one academic year. तो क्या CBSE ने ये सारी चीजें कंसिडर की है? यहाँ तक कोलैबोरेशन हुआ या सिर्फ अभी के लिए पोस्टपोन हो गया?
Mhm.
Is it a long run decision, or is it just a time being decision? Because we have
Mhm.
seen what is happening to the careers of children. Talented children are struggling to get good job opportunities. So they should
Mhm.
not sit at home for next 2-3 months wondering, okay, अब तो 12th हो गया, May June में उनका 12th हुआ, July में 12th हुआ, and now they are waiting for 11th 12th admissions and SAT exams and other exams. So
Mhm.
their credibility should not be a question,
Yeah.
because it is a
That's.
hard work of 10, 12, 15 years.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's what I would like to add. Say.
Yes.
In 10th standard, they were marked through the year, isn't it?
Hmm.
They were given some marks first term or some formative exams or something. Maybe they will get taken an average of all that and give a result for 10th standard. Those who are not giving the 10th board.
Yes,
Hmm.
Board,
yes,
the
and
an average of the entire year. They may have given so many exams. They have given pre-board. They have given
Yes.
practicals. They unit tests or formative tests. Then they can have an average of that for 10th standard. Maybe they are thinking on those lines.
Yeah.
We don't.
I
But
think
this
this.
situation in a lifetime, no, never happened earlier,
Hmm.
and will never maybe again in our lifetime, hopefully. So this is something different. We cannot say that we should, because it's very difficult. 2 lakh people in one day, they are there. It's very difficult. And parents are also thinking in terms of parents. It's very difficult to send a child in such a situation to give an exam. And if he gets
So true.
the if he gets the infection, then how does he give the rest of the papers? So it's not
Yeah.
easy.
So, all the more reason for us to look at innovative methods of assessment. Why are we trying to wear the old shoes? Why are we trying to
Yeah.
stick to an old way of assessment, which is that, they will all come and sit in a hall and give exam? I'm just wondering what happened to innovation in education. Why can't we request, have a whole lot of our teachers come together? There are brilliant teachers, we have some of them here already. They can all come together and probably suggest a way without postponing exams. You can have assessments. Exams is one method of assessment.
Yes.
Surely we can find out more innovative ways of doing it. And for me, this thought constantly keeps coming back. See, सर्वाइवल इंस्टिंक्ट बहुत स्ट्रांग होती है सो इफ वी कैन जस्ट कन्वे टू द स्टूडेंट्स that it is in your own interest when they're not attending classes online or when they're not taking the assessment seriously, that's because they don't understand the value of it. उनको लगता है कि it doesn't matter, but it matters. When will we start focusing on that dimension? I always keep wondering. हम students को एक stakeholder की तरह treat क्यों नहीं करते हैं when we decide something like this for them?
He's the main stakeholder, the student.
But we don't. But we
that's
never have.
why
Yes.
that's why I said in the starting that when we blend tech and assessment, like tech blended learning, I said that student choice, student
Hmm.
agency, and self regulation. If we
Yes.
understand this, things will become easy for not only for us but for a complete nation, and we would be generating future leaders. If you see such
Absolutely.
kind of
Hmm.
assessments 5 years, 10 years down the line, our education system will be completely reformed. But
Yes.
There are ifs and buts, but
Yes, yes, that is what the challenging part is. Okay, just for the sake of doing this, just come up with one innovative idea that you can think of how we can do
yes, there
assessments.
are there are vlogs, there are blogs, there are e-portfolios, Kahoot, Mentimeter. So many apps are there. Google Classrooms are there. Like many things are included in Google Classrooms.
Hmm.
So just give the child liberty to do these activities, assessments, and you can design one and you can present it to the class. Let the children take it up. If it is not satisfied, take the feedback, change it, again present it in another way. So this can be like just give and take of weaknesses and strengths. So many, like I have just listed a few here because of lack of time, but there are many
Yes,
assessments free of cost for teachers. We just need to put awareness around us, among
yes,
students, among teachers, among principals, how to use them, and so on.
right. Thank you, thank you.
Actually, children know it too well. Children know it better than us.
Yes, they help
And
us
Yes.
out in such technology. They tell us,
Mhm.
ma'am, do this, ma'am, do that.
yeah,
But we
yes.
are restricting our system with what we have and what we know. So
Yes.
that should not happen.
Yeah. Himani, any concluding thoughts? We have a couple of minutes remaining.
Yeah. I would like to just add that no, the classes should be very, very interactive. I mean, be it through Google Meet or Zoom or Teams, whatever platform we are using, it should be very, very interactive. And then we can understand, no, who's doing what.
Yes.
To understand that, to have the over comprehensive view about the students, comprehensive idea about the students' performance. If we are interactive, if the classes are interactive, I mean, then only we can understand that who is doing what, who is at what level, and I mean, that is what is important for me.
Um,
I want to make
so,
I make my classes very, very interactive, no? Just by saying, okay, you give me the idea, you give me the solution, you give me, and actually, as Afia ma'am and Supriya ma'am has told, that the students come up with very innovative ideas, no, much better ideas than what
yes,
we
absolutely.
are just one mind, and there are a number of minds which work together, or which I mean, they have very good ideas.
Yes, and the future belongs to them and to brilliant educators like you. Thank you for joining us on this discussion on Ek Samvad at Aruni Mankuran. It was a pleasure having you here. And we hope that some of the ideas we shared will get heard and some action will happen somewhere. So, thanks again, Supriya ma'am, Afia ma'am, and Himani ma'am for being here. It was such a pleasure talking to you.